Hello? Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Do you like the new stream layout? My background is being removed. Look at that, isn't that fancy? I finally caught up with 2026 technology. I think this should clean up the stream a little bit, right? It's just a little bit less clutter on the stream, a little bit more screen that you can see. So I think it's pretty cool. The top of my head is being removed. Yeah, that's just because my camera, I would have to raise the camera a little bit more, which I suppose I could do, but maybe I'll do that for next stream. But yeah, like The illusion is broken when I put my hands up because that's like the borders of my camera, but as long as I stay like nice and still here, you'll be able to see me. So the illusion will be broken, but that's okay. I'll fix it. I think I just actually need to physically raise my camera some more so that it covers more empty space above my head, and then I just need to crop it differently. But I literally just did this like 10 minutes before hopping on the stream, so it'll work for now. It'll work for now. But yeah, I think I like this. I think it's pretty cool. It works pretty good. It's just the NVIDIA background removal for the 50 series card. It just integrates right into OBS, so no green screen required. Anyway, yeah, before I get into it, I want to remind everyone that Alchemortis is available for wishlisting. Also, the playtest for Patreon members just launched today. So in addition to wishlisting Alchemortis, you can actually play the current build of the game right now if you join over at Patreon. Any tier will get you instant access to the playtest. A Steam key will be sent to your, I almost said inventory. A Steam key will be sent to your inventory. No, it'll be sent to your inbox, and that will give you instant access to the playtest. If you subscribe at this top tier here, that's like a pre-purchase of the game, so I'm going to send you a Steam key when the game launches, so you don't need to buy it on Steam if you subscribe to this tier for at least 1 month. And your name will also be listed in the in-game Alchemortis credits. However, I also need to mention that you do not need to pay to play the playtest. You don't need to do that. It's this is a way that you can support development, but everyone is going to have an opportunity to play the playtest. A week from today is when the playtest will go live for everybody, and during that public playtest period, you'll be able to join directly from the Steam page on demand. So it's just for this first week. Only Patreon members will be able to play, and then there will be a week of access for everyone else. And you can also check out my Udemy courses. Those are available if you want to learn how to build games in the Godot engine, like your favorite niche e-celeb. So there you go. Anyway, so what we're going to be doing today is Ninja Link actually said in the Discord that it would be good to have a list of cards that players can see what's all available for the people who do want to like thoroughly test it, and that would be super helpful for me as well. And I've been meaning to update my tooling as well, because I've run into a couple situations now where I want to be able to see all of the cards that belong to a certain faction, all the minion cards, all the cards that have poison, and so on and so forth. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this board configuration editor here, and we are going to rework this into more of like a card inspection tool that I can use to see what all cards are available. And I actually don't know, I may actually just end up creating a new scene, because this can become my wave function collapse scene. So this is, I can test my, I can test the wave function collapse algorithm through this scene. So with these controls up here, I can change the board dimensions, and I can change the board difficulty as well. And then I can change the region, and then when I click this WFC button, it generates boards in the same way that they'll be generated during the game. So I can kind of click through this and just generally observe how the boards are being generated. So I'll probably keep this, and we'll create a new scene that basically loads up all the cards onto a giant board, and then I'll add filtering options as well for doing all that stuff. So yeah, that's what we're going to be working on today, and then I'll investigate how feasible it is to do like a CSV export of those things for people that want like a CSV list of everything that's in the game, so on and so forth. So yeah. Anyway, let's say hello to everybody. Hello, Clickertail, welcome back. Hello, Jackie Daytona, good to see you again. The Dollite, welcome, welcome. Good afternoon, Ninja Link. New background cutout, yes. Top of your head. Oh, I already read that. We're a real streamer now, yeah. Real streamer. You like it? Okay, good. I think it looks a little bit cleaner. Hello, Light Tiramisu. Cat Cam Wen. Well, here's the thing. The cats don't like sleeping on this chair next to me during the winter time because my office is kind of cold. So they're off in the other room where it's warmer. But maybe when spring starts to roll around, I can look at setting that up. Just don't start saying bruh like everyone my son watches. I promise you that I will not say bruh except unironically. Oh, let me do this real quick. I'm going to reorder something. Featured chat. There we go. Put the featured chat. So now I can do this. It's a proper order now. Okay, that looks better. I had a feeling something was different when your icon didn't have a white box outline on it. Yeah. I have a USB camera with a depth sensor that can do some neat things like remove background and whatnot. Yeah, the depth sensor, I remember, was it Apple that came out with the first phones that had depth sensors, and everyone was like, what the heck is that for? But they end up being very useful. Isn't an inbox technically an inventory for a certain type of items? I guess so. Today is the playtest release on Steam. Yes, for Patreon members only. If you are not a Patreon member or don't want to become a Patreon member, it'll be available a week from today for you. Wave function collapse, wacky fried cauliflower, yeah. Hello, I Not Doggo, welcome. Nicholas Dev, hello, hello. Rose B Games, welcome. Yeah. Also, welcome to you, Vetris. Good to see you. Okay, all right, so let's create a new tool then. Card inspection tool, scenes, UI. Do I have this? Where is this one saved? Oh, there's a tool scene directory. How did I miss that? There it is. Card inspection tool. All right. Cool. Okay, let's take a look at this then. So I need a board. So let's set up a scroll container. Not an H scroll bar, please. Scroll container. And then we'll put a board container in here, and then we'll do a board here. Okay, and let's just try this. So we got board. Let's get a reference to the board. Okay. Oops. Okay. I can't remember if this all IDs. Is it skipping training dummy? Yes. I think it should probably also skip God mode, but we'll worry about that in a second. So for each var card and registry all IDs, we're going to do card factory.create create card from ID card true. First thing we're going to do, let's do card ID board.board inventory component.set unbounded mode. I'm gonna have to probably support a max dimensions in here now that I think about it, but let's just set unbounded mode to true. Oh, I suppose this should be null by default. Okay. Card board.board inventory component dot try place card at next available position. Card. Do we want to do... Yeah, that's probably fine, I guess. Okay, I'm probably going to need this card mouse events manager, so we'll go ahead and slap that in there. Probably going to need the card tooltip, so we'll slap that in there as well. Board manager, probably going to need that as well. Okay, let's see what that does. I love the new yellow outline in the margin container. Yeah, me too. Me too. Hello, it's Ramsey. They flaked on me two days of anxiety for nothing. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is that in relation to the game jam? So there's all the cards in my game. Look at that. That's pretty. But I probably want to put a max size on this, and I also need to do some things with this scroll container. But let's set the card tooltip to invisible, card mouse events manager to invisible as well. Actually, we probably don't need to make that one invisible. Ah. Okay. So I am going to need to extend this a little bit. Set unbounded mode. Starting dimensions. I'm probably going to want a vector 2 I max dimensions equals null. Let's do max unbounded dimensions. Private vector 2 I max unbounded dimensions. Okay. All right. So ensure dimensions for card required x greater than dimensions.x. If max unbounded dimensions dot has value, then we're going to do required x. There we go. That should work. And then I also need to do the same thing in grow board to dimensions here. No. And expand board. That's about the coding job interview. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm getting my viewers mixed up. Right, the coding job interview. So they didn't attend the interview that they scheduled with you? That sucks. Very unprofessional. And here comes the cat. As soon as I start streaming, now he's meowing up a storm. What? What? I literally just started streaming. Does this work? Look at that. You're cut out from the background, buddy. Oh, goodness. It's without fail. Every time I start streaming, it's like, as soon as I start talking to the computer, he's like, no, it's my attention time. I don't really feel like working out the logic for this, so modify this method to account for max unbounded dimensions if it is. We'll have the AI do this grunt work for me. I'm definitely going to have to test this to make sure I didn't break anything. Okay, well, whatever. We'll see if that works. We will see if that works. Okay, so then I can go to my card inspection tool. Let's just set the max unbounded dimensions to new vector 2i. Oh, I need to shoot. Well, that's fine. I'll just do 1,000. No, let's do 8 in the Y and 8 in the X and 1,000 in the Y. That should be fine. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look at that. It worked perfectly. Cool. And we've got a scroll container now. So that works. So now we want to center this. I probably want to give this a little bit of a custom minimum size. Let's do 18 times 8. That'll work. Let's turn off, well, we probably need clip contents on. So let's do 18 times 8 plus 16. And then what I'll do is I'll do a margin container with margins of 8 here. That should work. Okay, alrighty. All right, there we go. Maybe I want to give a little bit more on the right-hand side. Plus 4, and let's do a margin right of 12. Why is this not... Oh, this board container. We're going to give a little bit more room between the scroll and the board. There we go. Look at how nice that looks. Okay, so that looks good. That looks really good. It looks like you're just retrieving your cat from a Zelda-like infinite inventory just out of nowhere, yeah. From Hammer Space. Now, one problem is it doesn't detect the scroll event, so I might want to fix that. If I'm hovering over a card, the scroll event isn't accounted for, so... Anyway, give me 1 second real quick. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, so yeah, we got this loading up all the cards. So that's just like a very nice way of looking at the cards, generally speaking. It's kind of like a good performance stress test too, because like look at all these cards this is highlighting. Anyway, can I drag these cards? Oh my. Oh. It is not very performant when it comes to trying to shift cards around. It does not like that. So that might be an area to investigate, but I don't really think the player board is going to be large enough for that to be a concern, but it's definitely not liking that. Anyway, we don't really need to be able to drag and drop cards anyway, so that's fine. All right, so we've got the basic cards being all loaded up here. Oh, it's really cool to look at all the cards on a board like this. That's pretty sweet. That's pretty cool. Time to profile, yeah. Is this some fancy bin packing? It looks complicated. It's actually a lot simpler than it seems like it would be. So yeah, it's bin packing, but basically it's just, you just take the largest cards first and then you... Well, I guess that's not actually what's happening here. Oh, try place card at next. I mean, I guess it kind of is. I already had, so here's the thing. I do have some like bin packing for when I offer like boosters. So like this cardboard utils, this resize board and place cards here. What this does is this sorts the cards by size and then it places them on the board. But I actually don't think I technically need to do that because the way that this works is it just keeps, if a card is being, so when I'm in unbounded mode, which means that the board does not have a defined size, I just call this try place cards at position, try place card at next available position. And what it does is it tries to find an existing location that that card can fit at. And if it can't fit the card anywhere, what it does is it expands the board to fit that card. But what that will do is that will leave open spaces where that card couldn't be placed. And so the next time a 1x1 card comes in the list or whatever, it knows it can put it there. Or in the case of like the cat here, it'll find a spot for the cat. So yeah, it's actually not, it's not that sophisticated actually. I do have a max width on this though, so this only goes up to a width of 8. But yeah, it just kind of works naturally. I didn't really do anything to make this work. It's just kind of like the algorithm that finds the next available position just happens to work very nicely for this. So yeah, it was kind of a fluke that it worked this well, honestly. Guess that the fact there are a lot of 1x1s makes it easier to finish off. Yeah, I think so. But when I have a more limited set of cards, what I am doing is I'm filtering, like I'm ordering the cards by their area and by their, I think the amount of, so there's the area of the card, which is like the bounding box. Oh no, that's not right either. How does it do the ordering? I literally just did this. Order cards for placement, it orders by area, then by the dimensions. So it does a specific ordering here. And it tends to place the larger cards first, which makes sense because the larger cards are going to be the ones that are most likely to have to expand the board. So you try to fit all the large cards in first, and then the remaining spaces will be filled by the smaller cards, and the board will still expand if it needs to for the smaller cards. But yeah, since there are 1x1 cards, typically you can find a place for those, especially if there's a bunch of odd-shaped cards, but I'm not doing that ordering in this case. I'm just placing the cards in the next position, and it just happens to work. So yeah. The other thing that helps too is like I have a square biasing in place. So I want, for the boards that are dynamically sized as a result of outputs, I want the board to retain a square-ish shape, which means that it shouldn't be like much longer in the X versus the Y or vice versa. So it kind of like tries to find positions that grow radially outward from the top left. And so it keeps expanding the board as necessary, either right or down, to preserve a squarish shape as it's placing cards along a diagonal here. And of course, as it's placing cards along a diagonal, there may be empty spaces up here for the next card to be placed at, right? So is that just shifting all of the cards? I think the reason why that's not working is, or why that's so sluggish is it's trying to shift all the cards. Honestly, I think the way to fix this would probably just be to, if I wanted to improve this performance, I'd probably just have like a max depth, like a max number of neighbors that it can try to shift. Because right now I think it's trying to shift the entire board, like every single card that would be displaced is trying to displace other cards all the way down here. I think that's probably what's happening. Oops, that was not right. So yeah, if you see like the zombies right here all by its lonesome, but if I try to move a card, I think there's a likelihood that it will shift. Yeah, see how it shifted like this arming sword down here? I actually don't know. I guess that got sent all the way from the top all the way down. So anyway, that algorithm was obviously not designed for huge boards like this, but I think it would be a relatively easy fix. Just like limit the amount of, limit the depth to which it goes to try to find room. Anyway, that's not important. So yeah, we need to add some filtering tools now. So the first filtering tools that I'm going to want to do are by enemy, right? So let's do a VBox container, enemy versus player. So VBox container, we'll add is it a spin box? No. Option button. Here we go. How do I get the default theme? Well, that's not going to work. Anyway, so we got a VBox container in here, then we got the scroll container there. This needs to be expand. Well, that's going to be annoying. I need to figure out how to get this option button to use the default theme. Is there not a way to get the default theme here? Maybe that works. I don't know. Text all. Text. Ally. Text enemy. Let me just see if that works. Oh my gosh, that is not working at all. That's not going to be helpful. I don't want that option button. What is it called? Option button? Oops. Delete that. I always get confused in this menu. Option button. Does that do anything? I just want to use the default Godot theming for this button. I guess I can't do that. It's one like a heck of a level with that board size, yeah. Final bosses to fight this board, yeah, you die instantly. I'm gonna get stuck because I don't want to create my own style for this thing. I just wanted to use the Godot default styling, but I guess that's not gonna work. Can I set? I wonder if I could just remove that. I don't think so, but let's see. Copy property path, GUI theme custom. Just set that to an empty string. Is that going to work? I don't think so, but let's see. I think that's probably going to break my entire theming, generally speaking, though, if that works. It didn't work anyway. Okay. Is there no way to just use the default theme? Let me look it up real quick. So the AI result says that I could just set an empty theme, but I did that. And that doesn't work. That doesn't do anything. Yeah. So it's like this custom theme in the project settings here is overriding that. Shoot, how do I do this? Well, that's unfortunate. I had similar issues yesterday when I was fighting against editing the editor theme to change some button style of a button I was using. I haven't found a fix for it. Yeah, I guess if you just have like this custom theme set, it just overrides everything. There's no way to fall back to the default theming. So I'm trying to think if there's like a clever way around this. This requires an editor restart, but editor hint, clear color. I was thinking maybe I could just override this. Let's just do debug, add custom.debug. Do I need to save and restart this really? Let's see what happens. Okay, so that reverts it, but my tooltips are going to be reverted as well. Okay, all right. So, and I don't want that to be debug forever. Am I allowed to set? I probably can't set like an os.set feature has feature. So that works, but I don't want to do, I mean, I'd have to set a specific feature flag just for this scene. I mean, I could go to modify run instances. So customize run instances here, and I could do a feature tag in here like tool or something. And then what I can do is I can go to project settings. Can I select a tool from here? Dot tool, add here. And so now if I run it, it should be okay. No, it didn't work. Do I need to restart the editor like it said? Let's see. Oops, I ran the wrong scene. No, that doesn't work. Why does that not work? Override main tags. Do I need to put that on? Oh, that doesn't work either. Okay, so that works. And then if I run the game normally, well, it's still going to have that tool keyword. So I don't want to have to edit that every time. What am I doing? Debug custom. So I don't want to have to remove this every time I want to do the tool. There has to be an easier way to do this. Download default Godot theme. Was not expecting this to be this difficult. Is the theme in the Godot repository? Let me just look at that real quick. Oh, the theme is just like... So I found the modern theme, but it's just a C++ file. I was hoping that there would just be like a theme file I could download from the Godot repository, and I could just use that as an override for just this tool, but it looks to me like this is just all baked into the C++ file. So that doesn't help. Do I have to do my own box for this? That's kind of annoying. Should have a system similar to process mode for the theme where you can either inherit or override the theme. I agree, yeah. Probably not, they're usually software defined. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. That's kind of annoying. Let me think if I can do something a little bit better here. Maybe I can just override this theme. I don't really want to set up a whole theme for just this button, though. I guess, okay, here's what I'll do. I'll just use flat style boxes, and that should be easy enough. Style box flat. That's fine. Pressed, new style box flat. New style box flat. Okay, that will work just fine. For the text colors, since this is just a tool, we'll just set this to black. Okay, that'll work. It doesn't need to look stylistically perfect. Can I set a default value on this? There we go. Okay. Moving on. Was it 164? All right, that should work. I haven't used a lot of these control nodes, so this is going to be interesting. So let's just get this filter working then. Let's do faction filter. What are the signals I have? Item focused, item selected. Okay, so let's do this. Access is unique name. Private option button, faction filter. Faction filter dot item selected plus equals on faction filter item selected. We're going to do a private void apply filters. Right now we'll just do int faction index. Obviously this is going to transform into like an object that contains all my filters, but for now we'll just do apply filters faction filter dot selected. Am I missing something? Item selected index. Oh, is this a long? Of course it's a long. Anyway. Apply filters index. I guess we'll just make this. Doesn't matter. Okay. So apply filters. We'll paste all this in here. Our card IDs is equal to faction index equals 0. Faction index is equal to 1. Oh, I'm not filled. Okay. We might need to make a change to the card registry. Oh, player IDs. Yeah, we got that. Equals 1 card registry dot player IDs. Okay. For each of our card IDs and card IDs. Okay, the other thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to... Oh, we're going to need to do board dot... Actually, this unbounded mode can go up here. Okay, we're going to do... We don't need this register board in here either. That can go there. Okay, board dot board inventory component dot clear get cards on board card dot queue free clear board board dot board inventory component dot set dimensions vector2i.1 and then we will iterate over all of those and place those cards. Okay, let's see if that much works. What are you trying to do? I'm just building, well, specifically I was trying to revert to the default Godot filter or default Godot theming, but apparently that's not possible. But now I'm just building a tool for filtering. So I do ally cards. These are all my ally cards. If I do enemy, those are all the enemy cards. So I'm trying to make a tool that allows me to filter the cards so that I can inspect these a lot easier. So there's my allied cards. We've got all the reagents and stuff. Enemy. Okay. So I can filter by faction now. Perfect. This tool is a little bit slow switching around, but it's just a tool, so it's okay. But the other thing that's nice about this tool too is that if I ever wanted to optimize the placement of things, what I could do is I could just use this tool as like a benchmark. So if this is taking too long, this is following the same exact set of operations that would be used to fill out a board in game. And so I could just use this as a test case and like try to optimize this. But yeah, so now I can filter by faction, which is nice. Obviously, there are a lot more player cards right now. Okay, so that's one set of filters in place. So I think the next filter would be to filter by tag. So we could definitely do that. Let's get this going. The long for your combo boxes is with 6 billion options. Yeah, I would for sure do a course in tooling of Godot if you've made one. Love watching your streams because they're usually more advanced in terms of programming. Love it. Well, thank you, Maui. I appreciate it. Maui. And yeah, I don't know if there's much to cover because the tools here are going to be like kind of specific to your game. I suppose if I started with a project and just showed people how to add tools to it, that might be helpful. But then the question is like, how do I find a project to do that with? In any case, Alchemortis is my main focus right now. So tools are hard to teach because they are hyper specific on why the tool is needed in the first place. Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, a general like course on like, here's how you can use the editor features to create tool scripts and everything might be useful for sure. All right, so begin work on card inspection tool. Hello, Ben, welcome back. Good to see you. All right, I'm going to, I'm out of water. So I'm going to go ahead and refill my water, take a quick 3-minute break, and when we come back, the next filter we're going to add is a tag filter. And the tag filter is going to be interesting because the cards can have multiple tags. So I actually want to have an option button where I can select multiple tags and then filter down the cards based on whether all of those tags match. So yeah, I guess we will, I was just thinking about how I'm going to implement that. We'll figure out how to implement that in a second here, but let me catch up on these. Also, maybe my, hold on a second. Oh, there we go. My head should clip the YouTube chat on the right there. Okay, I think we're good. We got the layers correct. It would be harder to teach, true, but just knowing what's possible, available, and general operations would be cool to know. Not sure if there's much documentation on these things. Yeah, I would say like the editor tooling side of things is not very well documented. Like, I think what would be really valuable is not just the tooling in terms of like adding like gizmos to the editor or adding like custom scripts or whatever, but plugin development too. Because the plugins aren't very well documented, but it's an incredibly useful feature when you figure out how to do even the most basic things. Like you can add your own docs to the editor, you can add your own buttons to the editor, so that could be very useful, but I'm not an expert in that. So I would have to get familiar with how to do that in an appropriate way before I were to teach on it, but that would definitely be useful for sure. Anyway, I'll be right back in just 3 minutes and we will continue on with this tooling. All right, I'm back. Alrighty, so now we want to do the tag filter. There's got to be a clever way to do this. So does this allow... Is there like a multi-select? Let's just look at all the control nodes available here. Check box. Nope. Check button. Nope. Menu button. I mean, maybe it's option button that I want to use. Is there a way to enable like multi-select here? Allow reselect. That doesn't seem to be able to select multiple options at the same time. Is that not possible? I thought it was possible to have like a drop down where you could select multiple options. Let me look at the documentation for the option button here. Maybe I'm missing something. No, because it only has one selected property, so that wouldn't be right. Okay. Bear with me as I figure this out. As you can tell, I don't really use a lot of these control nodes, so I don't know what it is that I'm after. Oh, is it like a list? Is there like a menu button maybe? No, that's not menu button. Is there like a list button? Item list. Vertical list of selectable items with one or multiple columns. I think that's what I want. That's what I want. Item list, select mode, multi, layout, custom minimum size. Let's just do like 64 or something. Item list. Okay. I'm going to want to do this programmatically, but let me just see what this does. Allow search off. Wrap around items. Items. Here we go. Let's just do like minion and ritual. Oh, it's going to use my scroll bar too. So maybe I want to make this bigger then. 64. Oh, that's not good. Let's change this. I know it's just a tool, but we got to make it look at least presentable. There we go. And actually, let's make this make this do shrink begin. There we go. And there's no reason these need to all be on the top. I could probably put them to the side. Actually, that might be more appropriate. But so we could select minion and ritual. How do I know if it's selected or not? Item list. Oh, toggle maybe? Is that what I want? Oh yeah, so now both of them are on. Okay, all right. That's what I'm gonna want to do. Cool. Okay, so what I'm gonna want then is I will want to programmatically put those in so I can relate the index to a specific tag, and then I can use that for filtering. But before I go much further on this, let's change this type to an HBox container. So we'll reorient this a little bit, and then let's do, this is an HBox container now. Let's just go ahead and do shrink center on this. Okay, that should work. This doesn't need to be that long. Layout. Shrink begin. Okay. Why is there so much space here? Oh, because this has a custom minimum size. There we go. There we go. Okay, perfect. So we've got all of the cards here. I can change the filter, and then I can do minion ritual. I'm just playing with the layout now. But anyway, it's kind of fun to play with the layout. VBox container. Okay, we're done playing with the layout. Let's get this item list. So we'll do the tag list here as a unique name. And then let's grab that node private item list tag list. So we're going to want to programmatically set this. So I'll just do private void setup tag list here. Tag list. Can I do clear? Nice. Okay. For each of our tag in enum get values card tag. This will be a card tag. Okay. So I'm going to want to do tag list.add item toString tag.toString. Do I want to sort this by order by t.toString? Okay. Tag list add item. Let's do a dictionary. Private dictionary. We're going to do int card tag index to tag. I suppose this can be read only. Card tag index to tag. This needs to be var enum values is equal to enum.getValues dot order by that dot to array, or var I equals 0, I is less than enum values dot length, tag list dot add item tag dot toString. So we're setting up our tag list here. Set up tag list. Okay, so tag list dot item selected plus equals on tag list item selected. Selected. Trying to draw the 2D viewport for my plugin. The functions I use are very vague. Yeah, that is definitely a problem. Item list. Oh, I should have read the chat. Thank you for that, Grandra. Appreciate that. And welcome back to the stream. Item list under a pop-up menu. Yeah, I think what I have will work, but we'll see. We will see. Okay, private void on item tag. What is it called? On tag list item selected. On tag list item selected, long index. So what I'll probably do is let's just create a new class here. Private class filter options. And we're going to do public int faction index. Public hash. I think this can just be a unified card tag. Card tag selected tags. We'll make this nullable as well. Oh, the other thing that we want to do is we want to let's do card tag enum values is equal to where x not equal to card tag dot none, and then we're going to do card tag dot none with this, and I don't need this to array, I don't think. Okay, so basically just excluding card tag dot none from the enum get values and just putting that at the beginning of the array instead. So that way I know that when selected is going to be none, like no selection basically. On tag list item selected, var. So we'll do this. We'll say private filter options, current filter options is equal to new. And we'll just do apply filters, current filter options. Okay. Apply filter. So we're going to do current filter options dot faction index is equal to int index. I guess I don't really need to apply. I don't really need to pass it in, but I guess I'll keep it as an argument in case I ever want to like programmatically construct these. And then like if I wanted to have some defaults. So actually that's a good point. I'll do current filter options equal to filter options. So I'll just make sure to reassign that whenever this gets passed in. So if I wanted to have like a preset button that had a bunch of configurations configured for me and I just click the button, I can pass in the filter options that correspond to that preset configuration and that will work. So I think I'll keep it where we have to pass in the arguments there, or pass in the argument. And then the current filter option will be for like modifying the currently applied filter. On tag list item selected, let's see, current filter options dot selected tags. I guess what I probably want to do is I actually probably want to do var selected tags. No, let me think. Selected indices is equal to tag list dot get selected items. That should be an index of int. So then I'm going to say card tag combined tags is equal to card tag dot none. Okay, the AI is doing it all for me. Very nice. So we're basically just doing an OR operation with all the selected tags, so we get the combined tags. And then what I do is I say current filter options dot selected tags is equal to combined tags equals card tag dot none, null, otherwise combined tags. And then we can do apply filters, current filter options. Now the thing is, I probably don't want to recreate the board every time I apply a filter. I guess I have to do that though, so never mind. It's going to be a little bit not performant, but it's just a tool, so it's fine. Var card definition resource is equal to card registry dot from ID, card ID. If filter options selected tags has value and not has flag filter options. I probably want to make this card definition tags is not equal to filter options that selected tags dot value. Continue. Why does that not work? Oh, do I need to do this as an int? Oh, wait. No, we're good. I just had a wrong negative there. Card equals card factory create card. I already have the card definition resource, so I'll just pass this in here. Okay. All right, I guess we'll see if that works. So this is only going to match all of the tags. So I have all of my enemies. Let's do alchemical. It didn't work. Minion. It didn't work. Reagent, relic, ritual weapon. Okay. Tag list item selected. Is this even working? gd.print selected index. I don't know if that's working. Did I ever call apply filters? I did. So I wonder if this is probably just not working. Yeah, it's not doing anything. So that's probably the wrong signal then. Only applicable in single selection mode. So item activated. Multi-selected. Okay. On list, tag list, multi-selected. Multi-selected, bool selected. I think that's probably okay. I don't think I need this. No overload. Is this an int now? Don't tell me this is an int now. Oh. No, I was just doing it wrong. Okay. That's probably going to work now. Well, you're toggling though, right? Yeah. Well, it's not. No, I don't think it's the toggle. Is there a toggle? Alchemical minion. Wait a minute. So this is everything with the alchemical tag. Alchemical minion. Oh, so this is, yeah. So it's a little bit confusing. This selects cards that only have the alchemical tag. This selects cards that only have the alchemical minion tag. Reagent is none. So if I wanted to sort by minion, I can see that, and then we can do ally cards. Are these really all the ally minions? That's really all the minions? I guess so. Let's see if reagent works. Yeah, those are all the reagents. I've got 3 relics? Okay. No, that can't be right. Oh, right. Yeah, so it's selecting items that only have that tag. But if I did alchemical relic, there we go. Okay, that's a little bit confusing. So I probably want this to work in a separate way. I want it to do it if it has at least one tag that's selected. But if I select multiple, then it needs to have both tags. So I don't want this to filter by only things that have alchemical and minion. I want this to filter where it's got one of these. I guess I kind of want both modes, but like if I wanted to narrow it down to how many cards do I have that have the minion and the relic tag, that's none. But how many have alchemical minion tag? So this has to be exactly equal. So it has to have exactly these tags is basically the way that it's working. So this is filtering for items that only have the alchemical tag. This is filtering for items that only have the minion and alchemical tags together. So I probably just want to modify this. Card definition.tags. Let's do card definition.tags and, so we'll do a bitwise and is greater than 0. So I could make it do, I could have a mode where it has to be exactly, but so this way I do alchemical. No, that's not right either. Why does that not work? Wait, bitwise and filter options. It's greater than 0. That is definitely not an alchemical. That is definitely not a minion or a reagent. What am I doing wrong here? Could just add a checkbox for exclusive searching. Yeah, I think that's probably true. The greater than 0 may be the issue. Well, I'm thinking if I do a bitwise and, so if I have bit number 2 set on the card tag mask, let's say, and I have bit number 2 searching here. If I AND those together, I should get a result that's greater than 0. But if I don't, yeah, am I just being dumb? Like, did I forget how to do bitwise AND? Because I'm thinking if I'm trying to find a card that has the bit 2 set to 1, I would AND it with this, which would have the bit 2 set to 1, and this tags value here, if it has every bit but bit 2 set, then the AND wouldn't work. It would return 0, right? So am I just thinking about this wrong? I'm kind of baffled, actually. Oh, I'm filtering out. Oh, I'm doing the filtering wrong. Equals 0, right? That's why. Yeah. I was doing like the positive filter. Like I want to include cards where it's greater than 0, but I'm doing the continue there. So I was actually excluding. Okay. Anyway, it was because I was dumb. Carry on. Carry on. And excludes or includes. Yeah. So let's see. Alchemical. There we go. All right. Alrighty. So it